Are sprint weekends worth it? Are they engaging for the fans and the drivers and the constructors? I'm not really sure. Just finished up watching the Azerbaijan sprint. Later today is the Azerbaijan GP, which I'm really excited for. The goal of the sprint weekend from the FIA is to keep audiences engaged throughout the whole weekend, rather than just having practice, qualifying for a GP, and then a GP, which is what an ordinary race weekend is. But instead we have practice, qualifying for the GP, sprint qualifying, sprint, and then the GP. Max Verstappen came out and said, why are we doing 2 qualifications? By the time he was doing the second qualification, he was thinking, I've already done this. And effectively, the qualifications weren't that different. They were shorter, but other than that, we're really just doing qualifications twice. But I agree, watching the second qualification, it wasn't that interesting. I was just waiting for the sprint race to happen, but I don't think that we could be doing, let's just do the sprint race with the exact same starting positions as the GP, because then you're not giving an opportunity for variance. I think one of the other goals for a sprint is to allow some of the lower level teams opportunity to score points, because in a sprint race, you can score points in the top 8 positions, although nowhere near as many points as you can in a GP, which is still the pinnacle of the weekend. That being said, having watching the sprint last night, I found it to be a little bit boring, even though it's supposed to be quick action, excitement, rapid 30-40 minutes. It didn't feel like that. It just felt like a bit of a slog. I'm still waiting for the GP, which is 2 hours of excitement. I mean, you do get boring weekends, just like any other sport. There's going to be boring games or boring races. Every weekend cannot be action-packed. Perhaps it's the track. Perhaps Azerbaijan isn't particularly suited for a sprint weekend. That might be something that we learn as this season goes on, that some tracks are more suited to it for one reason or another. And as sprints go on, we kind of work out what aspect of the track are making sprints good and what aspects are making them bad. Sprints shouldn't be abandoned. We've got more to go this year, and I'm interested to watch them and see what we learn. But what can prevent sprint weekends from being a gimmick? This might sound strange, but in an ideal world for the FIA, I think you would want fans that only tune in for the sprints. The sprints could be something so exciting that a particular segment of the fan base really love the sprints. In fact, they love them more than the GP. Reading online, I don't see any fan talking about the sprints like an unmissable event, or they only like the sprints, or sprints are better than the GP. That's just not something that people are saying. As this season goes on, I'm very interested to see driver reactions and fan reactions to the sprint race. I personally think that if the FIA are going to keep sprint race weekends, a lot of work needs to be done on how they can separate from the GP, how they can feel like a completely different event while still being about the race and strategy and engineering and driver ability. What do you think about sprint races? I can't wait to watch more. I'm interested to see how they change from track to track. Yeah, Azerbaijan sprint didn't excite me. It is still all about the GP.